Welcome to Cinema Bites. Your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. Our movie begins with a failed and unemployed artist named Suzuki. One day, while sitting with his friends in the office, he hears news about a dog biting a girl out of hunger. His friend Inga jokes with Suzuki, saying, "After hearing this news, my respect for you has increased because when you're hungry, you don't bite us." They all laugh at him. At that moment, the news anchor corrects the story, saying that it was the girl who bit the dog, not the other way around. That's when they start suspecting that something strange is happening. Suzuki says to Inga, "See, I told you the dog was innocent. I'm leaving before you bite me." When he gets home, he finds his wife, Kate, upset with him because he's unemployed. He takes out his old rifle to look at it, and Kate argues with him, telling him to sell the rifle to pay the rent. He responds, "If I sell it, how will I protect you?" He then takes his drawings to sell them to a famous magazine, but unfortunately, they don't like them. By chance, he meets an old friend named Jung, who, despite being a failed student at the institute, managed to get a job at that magazine. Suzuki feels that life is crushing him, and everything is going wrong. When he returns home, he finds his wife packing his belongings to set them on fire. She tells him, "I've told you 1,000 times drawing doesn't pay the bills. You should find a job." She kicks him out of the apartment and locks herself inside. He spends the entire night on the street, feeling miserable and unsure of what to do. He notices a person next to him acting strangely, but doesn't pay much attention. The next day, while sitting with his friends in the office, they hear the news anchor talking about a new virus with flu-like symptoms. Shortly after, one of their friends starts feeling unwell and leaves. Exhausted, Suzuki falls asleep at his desk until nighttime. He wakes up to a call from his wife, who tries to make amends and invites him back home. The next day, he arrives and knocks on the door, but she doesn't answer. He looks through the peephole and is shocked to see her acting strangely, crawling on her hands and feet. Suddenly, she opens the door and attacks him. He tries to get her back inside the apartment, but she attempts to bite him, ends up biting the door instead, and her teeth fall out. Suzuki is in shock and doesn't understand what's happening. The problem escalates when she attacks him and bites his hand. He pushes her onto a metal object which kills her. He grabs his rifle, collects his belongings, and leaves. On his way, he encounters an injured woman who is bleeding. He also sees military helicopters everywhere, which terrifies him even more. He goes to the office where he usually meets his friends and is shocked to find Jung covered in blood. He quietly enters to understand what's going on and sees someone infected with the virus with a knife stuck in their stomach. He panics and is scared. Jung hits the infected person on the head with a candlestick, killing them. Jung finishes off the infected person and kills them. Suzuki asks, "What is happening in the world?" Jung explains that it's a virus transmitted through blood. Suzuki checks his wife's bite mark and realizes he was lucky her teeth fell out before she could bite him properly. While talking to Jung, he notices a wound on his leg. Jung begins transforming into a zombie, but kills himself before fully turning. Suzuki flees the scene. He finds zombies everywhere in the city. He sees a police officer and asks for help, only to realize the officer is also a zombie, but a car hits the zombie, killing him. Suzuki runs like crazy through the streets. By chance, he witnesses an accident and shouts, "Someone call an ambulance." When the ambulance arrives, he regrets it. Later, he sees a taxi driver sleeping in his car. Suzuki wakes him up saying, "Wake up, man. The city is chaos." As he opens the door, a girl named Tiko appears, asking for his help. At that moment, they see a zombie staring at them, but it seems the zombie is busy with an important phone call and doesn't attack. Another person joins them, and they all leave the area together. Suzuki discovers that the new person is an important government official. When Suzuki asks him the time, the official's body starts transforming, and blood begins dripping from his eyes. He asks for a tissue, and the driver, unaware of the transformation, hands him one. The official bites the driver's hand and attacks Suzuki, but Suzuki manages to escape. A car runs over the zombie. As they continue, the driver starts transforming into a zombie and drives at full speed. Suzuki tries to protect Teiko by pulling her close. The driver attempts to bite them, but his seatbelt prevents him. Suddenly, the car crashes. After a while, Suzuki and Teiko regain consciousness and find themselves unharmed. They check the internet for information about the virus and discover that it dies in extremely high altitudes. They see Mount Fuji in the distance and decide to head towards it. Along the way, they find an empty house, enter it, and spend the night there. They get to know each other better, and Teiko tells Suzuki that his name means hero in Japanese. She tells him, "You truly are a hero because you saved me." They slept until the next day. By chance, Suzuki notices a bite mark on Tiko's neck and is shocked. He distances himself and asks her about it. She explains that a child bit her 2 days ago, but nothing has happened to her since. She cries and begs him to kill her if necessary. He reassures her, saying, "I won't leave you, even if you turn into a zombie. I'll turn with you." After a while, they go out to secure the area, but Tiko runs ahead. Suzuki shouts, "Stay behind me." After some time, she starts feeling unwell and sits down. Suddenly, she begins transforming into a zombie. He runs away. By chance, he meets a worker and asks for help. The worker agrees, but turns out to be infected and tries to bite him. Taiko arrives arrives just in time to save Suzuki, showing that part of her body is still human. They continue walking through the forest. Tiko becomes silent, and when she falls asleep, Suzuki carries her. Along the way, they find a moving car. Suzuki cleverly places Tiko inside the cart, and it takes them to a large, empty mall. In the mall, Suzuki finds an expensive jacket and tries it on. Suddenly, the shop owner appears, attacks him, and tries to bite it. At that moment, a girl named Sue arrives with a group of young people fighting zombies. They ask Suzuki about Tiko, and he tells them she's sleeping. They suspect she's not injured, because there's no way a zombie would sleep. Then he ties her injured eye, so that when she wakes up, they wouldn't suspect she's a zombie. Anyway, they kill as many zombies as they can, helped by a group of women standing on a high building making noise to attract the zombies towards them. The guys take advantage of the distraction and escape. Suzuki carries Kato on his shoulder, refusing to leave her behind. They reach the rooftop of the mall, where a group of survivors is living. They are welcomed by Seng, the group's leader, who tells them the place is safe because it has food, water, and everything they need. At night, a girl named Slow, who rescued him, gets to know him. She asks if Tiko is his daughter. He explains that he met her by chance, and they escape together. She admires him, saying he's brave for not abandoning her. The next day, Suzuki talks to a man named Leo, who tells him that zombies don't forget their past lives. For example, a certain zombie jumps and lands on its head, suggesting it was a swimming coach. Another zombie, a woman, tries to open a door because she loved shopping before turning into a zombie. Suzuki points out another zombie crawling like a spider and asks about it, but Leo says he doesn't know later. Seng gathers the group to show them a map of the mall, pointing out a food storage area because their supplies will run out in 2 days. He asks Suzuki for his gun, but Suzuki refuses. Seng gets angry, accusing him of prioritizing the girl over the group's safety. Meanwhile, another group led by Gang tries to take Tiko. Suzuki hears the commotion, escapes, and tries to save her. Tiko uses her powers to fend off some attackers, but the cloth covering her eye falls off, revealing she's a zombie. Seng shoots her in the head with an arrow, killing her. They gang up on Suzuki, beat him, and take his gun. However, the two groups turn on each other, taking Seng's weapon. Gang declares himself the new leader, but Seng mocks him. Later, Suzuki meets Slow, who tells him that Tiko is still alive because she's half human, half zombie. They set out to the mall to transport food supplies, taking Suzuki with them. When they reach the storage area, the lights turn on automatically, attracting zombies. Loud music suddenly plays, drawing more zombies to them. It turns out Seng orchestrated this to take revenge. Suzuki hides in a closet, but the music draws all the nearby zombies into the mall. A particularly dangerous zombie with a smashed head enters the mall differently, running at full speed and jumping in from the roof. It kills all the remaining survivors, but Slow hides with Tiko, reporting over the radio that zombies have breached the roof. Suzuki hears this and panics, vowing to save them. He finds his rifle and heads out. Slow and Tiko descend from the roof, which is overrun with zombies. They keep moving until they find Suzuki, who also encounters Gang, claiming he's uninfected. Shortly after, Leo appears, followed by zombies. They get trapped and must face the zombies to survive. A fierce zombie attacks them, but Suzuki shoots it in the stomach. The second shot misses. With his last bullet on the ground, the zombie lunges at him. Suzuki grabs the bull and finishes it off. Tiko and Slow are impressed with his bravery, calling him a hero. Suddenly, the dangerous zombie appears, and Suzuki panics because his gun is out of bullets. The zombie attacks, but Suzuki hits it with the back of his gun, smashing its head. Then, they take a car and head towards the mountain. See you in the next movie. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos. See you next time.